All right, so for a long time, I really didn't like Glocks. I didn't want to like Glocks. I didn't want to be a Glock fanboy, but I've turned over a new leaf and I think Glocks are pretty great. And so this video is going to be primarily centered around why I think Glocks are great and why I also think they're not that great. So let's get right into it. What's up, everybody? Are you a progressively inclined individual who's interested in firearms, or better yet, effective self-defense? Well, boy howdy, do I have the channel just for you. This is Fledgling Tactical. My name is Josh, and let's get right into this video. All right, so when people are first getting into firearms as an interest, a hobby, or utility, the first firearm usually that people go with is going to be a pistol, so long as they're over the age of 21 in the US. Pistols are wonderful. My favorite firearms to shoot are going to be pistols. And when I first started out, I started with a CZ75. I hold that near and dear to my heart. I do love double single action pistols, and it was a great gun to start with, albeit a little complicated for a beginner. From there, via other shooting ranges that have guns for rent, as well as other friends who own other things, I have tried a lot of different firearms. And from the very beginning, one of the first guns that I ever shot that was my friend's was, I think, a Glock 17 or 19, one of those two. And when I shot it at first, I just really didn't like the shape of it. I didn't like how it filled my hand, and there was just something about it that just didn't rub me the right way when it came to like Glock handguns. So for a long time, I just did not vibe with Glocks whatsoever. Well, fast forward down the line, and now I've had multiple different types of firearms with multiple different ways of functioning, multiple different brands, and honestly now I'm a really big Glock fan now. There is a plethora of different reasons as to why I do like Glocks now, but my first Glock is going to be this one right here. This is a Glock 17 that I have, like, changed parts to and just made it a little bit different, but this is a Glock 17 Gen 5 with the Harrington Arms Comp, Swamp Fox optic, Talon grips, and Apex trigger. This is a completely empty firearm, no ammunition in it whatsoever, and no magazine, but really wonderful gun, and this is one of my favorite range guns. So what exactly was it that kind of changed my mind when it came to Glocks? Well, there are three primary reasons, the first of which being availability. They're literally available everywhere. Every single gun store that I've ever walked into has had a number of Glocks, and in the various Glock models and calibers and everything like that, there is a Glock for every need for you to own a firearm. Concealed carry, you're going with the 43 or the 43X or one of the different calibers. I'm only really familiar with the 9mm caliber Glocks, and for larger duty size pistols, we got the 17, there's also the 19, there's also the 45, 47, 48, there's competition level Glocks where that you're going with the 17L or the 34. There's just so many different types that fill so many different roles, and they're always available, and they're always at around the same price at retail price. But yeah, that is one of the primary reasons why I like Glock. They're just everywhere. There is also the reputation for reliability. Glock boasts perfection, and I gotta say, reliability wise, they will always run. I mean, since I have changed parts out in this one, sometimes it does not run perfectly, but that's my fault for changing things from stock. If you're buying a Glock firearm from stock, and unless you get a lemon, usually they are one of the most reliable guns that I've ever shot. I've had issues with other companies and other models, and it just gets frustrating when I spend the money to get a firearm, and it's usually a pretty good chunk of change to be spending like money on firearms, and when they don't function properly, it's super frustrating. And one of the last primary reasons why I love Glocks now is the availability of parts. Glocks, although they're not the cheapest gun that you can buy on the market, and they don't always come with the best features that are included in a lot of other guns, Glocks, the parts are everywhere. You can find them, the parts usually are pretty cheap as well, and if you are someone that wants to kind of change the performance of your firearm, this is now something that I just absolutely adore, because I've changed things to kind of suit my needs whenever I go out to the range. This is now one of my perfect range guns. It definitely they don't start out that way, but if you put in a little bit of work, tune it up a little bit, change certain things, I at this point have sentimental value attached to this firearm now. Another bonus reason is going to be the simplicity of the Glock. They are super, super simple to operate. Like I said earlier, I started off with a CZ75 and mine was a double single action, so I had a decocker on it, and just kind of learning the ins and outs of that was a bit much for someone who just hadn't owned a firearm before. But for Glocks and really striker fired handguns in general, you cock it back, you pull the trigger, bullet comes out. It is a really, really simple platform to run, and they run exactly the same no matter which model that you have. But also the takedown is really, really simple as well. You can do it within seconds, and I know YouTube does not love it when you kind of show the disassembly of your gun, so I won't do that on camera right now. But yeah, they take down super simply, super quickly, no tools needed, and yeah, I just can't complain. Now introducing two other Glocks that I own. This is going to be the Glock 43X. This one has Ameriglow night sights on here, and they are metal sights, as well as just a different mag release right there. This is empty as well. And then what is probably my most fun firearm, 43X MOS, Cerakoted to be like cow print. The trigger is pink for the udders. This one is completely stock but Cerakoted. This is fun. Empty completely, no magazine, but the 43X is going to be my ideal concealed carry. Why I decided to go with the 43X is actually because my previous carry gun was a SIG P365X, where it is smaller and easier to conceal than this gun right here, but it was a little too small. It was so small, it was super snappy when I fired it. The grip was way too small. When I gripped my hand over here, it was just like my pinky would overhang a little bit unless I had an extended magazine in it, and I don't love when it's reliant on the magazine to have like your proper grip. So the 43X having the like compact size grip, I can get a full grip on it where my pinky is also a part of the grip, and when I do mag reloads, I'm not pinching myself, which I found myself doing with the SIG P365X. Now I could have gotten like the P365X like macro or the little bit larger versions of it, but that ended up getting a little bit more expensive than just buying like a Glock and just changing a couple things out. So I run my carry firearm extremely simply. I don't have a light up front, and I have like metal sights that were upgraded. This is going to be Ameriglow, right? Yep, Ameriglow night sights, and so it is like green up here. A lot of people live and die by like, oh yeah, no, I add a light for nighttime situations, and I have to have a red dot. For a carry gun, less is more for me. It's simple, it gets the job done, it's reliable. That's my ideal carry firearm. Now those are a lot of reasons as to why I think Glocks are great, but this is not a video purely about glazing Glock. There are a lot of improvements that you can do yourself, or is something that like you should be aware of if you're gonna go Glock. Price points I think are in like kind of the mid-level range for striker fired handguns. I know prices vary greatly depending on where you're at, so I'm not going to go specifically into how much they cost. And obviously, I really like buying used guns. And with a Glock, since they are reliable, more often than not, buying a used gun is pretty safe when you're going Glock. But yeah, regardless of price, there are some features that I think should be upgraded if you are interested in getting a Glock. And one of the primary ones that I think that should be upgraded is going to be the iron sights. So this rear iron sight, or these rear sights and front sights, they are plastic. So if you plan on using your firearm like kind of like roughly handling it, would not suggest keeping the stock sights and just changing them out to what I have on my carry gun, or my primary carry gun, if that makes sense. These Ameriglow night sights, these are made of metal. Please focus. These are made of metal, and with the night sight, this kind of illuminates in a darker environment. And so if you're going to run irons like I do for your carry gun, night sights are a must for me. And then if you just buy it stock, they work just fine. But I mean, to each their own. Now, then there's the MOS system. If you really don't want to talk about like the sights being good, bad, or otherwise, the MOS system right up in here is a system for you to mount a red dot optic. Though the MOS system is okay. I mean, you have to buy adapter plates to kind of fit the exact type of red dot you want to put on your firearm, and that goes for like the 43X, the 17. MOS system could be better, and oftentimes the adapter plates that are provided by Glock are not the best quality in the world, but you could always buy, like I said earlier, with the availability of parts, you could always buy better adapter plates and like metal adapter plates. I personally would really like to get a red dot that is directly mounted to the actual slide of the firearm, only because I don't want too many different potentially moving parts and multiple points of failure if, God forbid anything goes wrong. But yeah, other than that, other features that you could add, I mean, like you saw on the Glock 17, let me grab that real quick. The Talon grips, a lot of people complain about the Glock texturing on the grip itself does not feel secure in your hand or can slide if it's like you're sweaty or it's wet. So I added these rubberized Talon grips, which are great. I do love front slide serrations, so if you get the Gen 5 versions, a lot of them have the front slide serrations, which I really appreciate. I added a Harrington Arms compensator, got a threaded barrel for this, changed it out, and then threw the Harrington Arms compensator on it. I think it greatly improves how the gun feels when it's fired. And then red dot optic. This one is going to be actually a solid direct mount onto the slide itself, which is nice. But just be wary of there are certain optics that need adapter plates. These ones are going to be metal. I think these are also Ameriglow. Yep, Ameriglow suppressor height sights so that I can co-witness with my red dot if I wanted to. This is actually a green dot. I don't know if you could... Is it gonna catch it? I don't believe it will. Okay, no. But I prefer a green dot over a red dot, although I do own both green and red dots. These upgrades are optional. The Apex trigger is definitely optional. I actually don't mind the stock Glock Gen 5 trigger. If you want any other like upgraded trigger, there is so many of them. This is Apex. There's also Johnny Glock's triggers. There's also Timony triggers. So a lot of different ones that you could potentially add and just make this gun your own. Now, a big criticism that I have heard over the years about Glocks is that they have kind of like a lack of innovation or lack of improved features generation to generation. Yes, there are differences between the generations, and they get slightly better every single time. My favorite generation being the Gen 5, and primarily because front slide serrations. I really appreciate front slide serrations. But is Glock offering all the features that they need? Kind of. I genuinely think so, only because they're not asking for, high-end amounts of money in like the, pistol, the grand scheme of like the pistol landscape as of right now. It is kind of, in my opinion, going to be like a middle level. They're not too expensive, but they're also not like super affordable. Secondhand market Glocks you can get for a really, really good price. That's primarily the route I go, but they're not boasting to have all these upgraded features. It is just a good, reliable, bare bones pistol for someone to start out with. And if I had to kind of start all over again, beginning my journey into like pistol shooting, I think a Glock is a very, very valid choice. I mean, like if you look at something like Sig Sauer, where their pistols oftentimes retail for multiple hundreds of dollars above Glock prices, it's really to each their own. And if I had to suggest anything to someone who's starting out their pistol shooting journey, go to a range, rent out some firearms, see what fits best for you. And also take into consideration everything that goes along with getting into the hobby of sport shooting or carrying or whatever purpose you're going to have your firearm. Glocks are a wonderful all-around. Are they perfect? Absolutely not. There are a lot of changes that you can do to make it a better experience for you as a shooter. However, even if you are going to make those changes, even if you're going to improve that firearm, the improvements that you're going to make are actually not too expensive, and you can learn a lot by doing it yourself, or you could just take it to a gunsmith and ask for these things done to your firearm. There's a lot of different avenues in which to get the firearm that is perfect for you, and I think Glock is a pretty solid base platform. But with all that being said, that's pretty much all I have to say in this particular video. I appreciate your guys' time. Thank you so much for sticking around and hearing me ramble about something that I absolutely love. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Have a great day. Later.